live. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Kristen Don Hefner and I'm the Measure 110 Engagement and Strategy Manager here at the Oregon Health Authority, and I'll be assisting with facilitating today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council and Media Subcommittee welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or get on our interested parties list by emailing oha.measure110@dhsoha.state.or.us. That email address and more information can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in this meeting space introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you're a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. And with that, I will turn it over to Sydney.
Sorry about that. There's a really loud car going by. Hi, everybody. Just in case you were late, Dharma was a part of the subcommittee, but she has said that she will not be able to join these meetings going forward due to a conflict. So that's why I will not call her name going forward. But when I do call your name, please stay here. And hello again to everybody. Amy. Amy, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, Amy. Keisha. Keisha, are you there?
Here. I'm here.
Hi, Keisha. Melinda?
Here.
Hey, Melinda.
Hey.
Morgan let us know she would not be here today. Onisha?
Onisha noted that she's here in the chat.
Oh, I see her in the chat. I see her now. Sorry about that. I did text her on and he has not responded yet. And Zeb.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Zeb. All right, we have 5 present, and I'll let you know if I hear from Ron as well.
Great, thank you, Sydney. I don't believe we have an OAC facilitator for today's meeting. If anyone wants to jump in, feel free. Otherwise, I think the one thing that I wanted to share with this group was just a little bit of a recap from the last media subcommittee that we had in September. I think the message that we took from that was really a desire to highlight and showcase some of the Measure 110 stories that have been collected through our various data reports. So I know we kind of called attention to the data dashboard that we published at the end of September. But that is kind of where a repository of both partner stories and client stories currently lives on the website. And I also wanted to share that since that meeting, we have had pretty much a weekly story in our OHA newsletter featuring Measure 110. The first was on September 21st, which is a story about featuring Recovery Works Northwest, which is one of the Measure 110 funded providers in the metro area who's opening a new detox center thanks to these funds. On September 28th, we featured a story about the new data report and how more people are being served by Measure 110. On October 12th, we highlighted a story amplifying a recent study that was published that found no correlation between Measure 110 and overdose deaths. And I believe this week or early next, we will be featuring a story on a housing provider in Southern Oregon and the work that they're doing thanks to Measure 110 funds. So just wanted to kind of briefly recap those. Our newsletter has a pretty big subscriber rate, more than the Oregonian, I'm told. And those are some of the ways that we're trying to get out and amplify some of the stories that we're hearing, and sharing those with our audience. But with that, I will stop talking and see what y'all want to discuss today.
What we want to be discussing as it pertains to what specifically?
If there are, I think last time we had talked about some of the stories that we had published on our website, and or on our data dashboard, if folks had a chance to look through those and had any questions either about what those stories were, or feedback on how we're displaying them, or what we wanted to highlight. I think that was one kind of take-home message from or homework item from last time. But then any other kind of suggestions or feedback after last month's media subcommittee, since I know we had Rob Cowie here and we had a lot of pretty good discussion about what OHA is doing to highlight the work of Measure 110.
What organizations specifically were highlighted in the stories?
So in the first story I mentioned, that was about Recovery Works Northwest and the new detox center that they're opening in, I think, right on the border of Clackamas and Multnomah counties. And then the story that is pending is about On Track, which is a Southern Oregon provider. I think it's going to specifically focus on some of the residential housing and stories that are coming out of their program in Josephine or Jackson County.
And how are we prioritizing who can be highlighted in the stories initiative?
That's a good question. I think that these are some that have, at least in part, I know the Recovery Work story came from their organization having a grand opening of their detox center and inviting some media and some OHA staff and really wanting to get their message out. So that was kind of a proactive approach on their part. I think last month, On Track had an opportunity to testify during Ledge Days, and had some, again, good stories to tell with their funding. They were one of the providers that came out. And so I think that's how that got started. I think we're open to suggestions on organizations that maybe you all want to feature, or if there are specific services you'd like to highlight, or parts of Oregon you'd like to talk about. I think we can definitely take those suggestions back to our media team.
I like to make a suggestion that isn't in line with what you just said. I think instead of relying on us to tell you who we would like to see or what storyline, I wish we could create a system, I don't know, a survey or a support form for all of the organizations who are receiving Measure 110 funding to be able to submit a potential story if they would like to be highlighted. I think that would be more fair and more sustainable for our time than just like, oh, we think this organization should, or we think that, because there's a lot of different organizations we aren't aware of. There's over 200 different organizations, and there's no way the body that makes up this media subcommittee can fairly come up with who should be highlighted or not. I think an equitable way is to create a streamlined survey to send out to everybody and say, hey, we're highlighting stories. If you're interested in highlighting story, submit this survey, and then the media team can support them to see what the curriculum or criteria is for creating that story.
I think that's
Is that not a good way? Or
yeah, I think that's definitely something that we can work on and report back on next month. Does anyone else have other suggestions or want to comment, piggyback on that?
Well, I'd just like to say, yeah, that's a great idea, Onisha. I think that will definitely get some more stories in if we set it up like that. So I like that idea a lot.
Sounds like a good homework assignment for us to put together.
And I like just to add to, I'd like to thank the OHA staff for, I'm looking at these slides and the success stories and everything, and it's a really good job of capturing that stuff. So thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah, I piggyback that. I'm wondering, how did you guys get it so detailed like that? What program did you use for it to all come in together and sync like that?
We have an amazing data team who put all of these slides together. All of the stories and the information that comes directly from partners. We ask in the quarterly financial reports and expenditure reports for some narrative around what folks are doing. And so these are really those provider words that our amazing data team have been able to categorize and tag and put together. I can claim absolutely no credit for it. They truly are the heroes in putting that together.
So the challenges on page 8, and I'm looking at the insufficient client housing. It seems like that number would be higher than that. I'm not sure if I'm in the right county or what, or if this is just for overall, but it seems like housing would be a higher number.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Melinda. I think one of the respondents specifically referenced Klamath County, but I think the other two, I'm not sure where they're from, but all of these are statewide. So they're not region or burn specific. So it might just be kind of what's either top of mind for folks or acute that month. I think I'll be curious to know if the housing question becomes more acute in the winter months when it gets cold outside. But that's a good observation.
Yeah, a lot of these seem pretty low, actually.
One thing I'm looking at on here is the challenges under stigma and community resistance is, if you're looking at it on slide 8, and that it's low, like 5%. But I know over here where we are in, oh, I'm sorry, I get all close to my phone. I know over here where we are in Pendleton, there's a lot of resistance from community members towards this. A lot of lack of information too. Still people don't understand what ballot measure 110 is or is doing over here. So the rural areas definitely need more information.
A good observation, Amy.
Kristen, was that the only thing on our agenda today?
That was the only thing that I had. I'm happy to end this meeting early. I know we all have busy things to get to. And we have a homework item that we can definitely report on next time, creating some kind of form or survey to get stories. So no one has
Yeah,
anything
I
else?
think that'll be a perfect way. Mail it to all of the organizations who are being funded and ask them if they want to be highlighted and give them some set guidelines of what that would look like. And then we can go from there. We can be able to, I think it would be very good to be able to highlight all of the services we offer if enough organizations want to be highlighted, you know, or the complete burn, you know. And maybe when you guys come up with a format, then we can look at it and see if there's any ways to improve it. So that we can highlight the complete burn maybe, and not just the individual organization. Because I think the burn is what makes us really unique as far as offering these services. We're offering complete wraparound care for the struggling addict. And I think that is what makes Measure 110 super special.
I have written that down. I really like that idea, Anisha. Well, I think our next subcommittee meeting is scheduled for, looks like November 15th. So we have our homework. Does anyone here want to volunteer to help facilitate that meeting? Or would we prefer to just send out an email beforehand and get a volunteer closer to that date?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Melinda.
I don't want to facilitate it, Onisha. If you want to, that's fine.
Yeah, I can.
The question I wanted to know is this: are these public record? These slides?
Yes, these slides are all posted on the Measure 110 website.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yep, I can facilitate, Kristen, for next week. I'm going up to the rental car counter, you guys.
Thank you, Onisha. I hope you get home safe. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week in the full committee and on November 15th for subcommittee with a survey in hand.
Thank you. See you guys later. Have a good day.
Thank you. Fly home safe, Onisha. See you later. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you, Onisha. See you, everybody.